Yo, what is going on, guys? In today's video, I will be going over the best keybinds and sensitivity for new keyword mouse players. I made the switch to keyboard and mouse 7 months ago, so trust me, I know how hard it can be to find the right keybinds and sensitivity. This is exactly the video you've been looking for, so to not waste any more time, let's get right into the video.
Important part, which are the keybinds. So for the movement I use which is the standard for jump. I have it on
spacebar, which is also pretty normal. I don't have sprint binded to a key because I have sprint by default on auto run is on 1, and that is completely preference and not really too important. Crouch is on left control, which is also very common for combat. I have fire on left mouse button and target on right mouse button. My reload is on ER, which is also a super common bind among keyword mouse players for use. I have it on E, and it makes it super easy to press since it's right next to my movement keys. If you're not really feeling it too much, you might want to try of now moving on to harvesting tool personally. I have it on T, but you want to make sure that since you're going to be using it so much, it's a comfortable key for you. So some other keys I see people put their pickaxe on is F shift, and even tab. Getting into the more important key binds, we have weapon slots for my weapon slot 1. I have it on squirrel wheel, which is literally when I click down on it. I always keep an AR in this slot for my second slot. I have it on mouse wheel down. So when I scroll down on the scroll wheel, this slot is mainly for my shotgun for my third slot. I have it on caps lock, and I usually keep an SMG or sniper in this slot, moving on to slot number 4. I have it on X, and I will either carry a sniper or some kind of consumable item in this slot. It all depends on my inventory for the last slot. Number 5, I have it on Z, and I will always carry consumables like minis or med kits in here. If you don't like these keyboards and you think you have rather large hands, you can simply go on the keybinds 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 on your keyboard for each weapon slot. We're now on the most important part, which is the building. My crouch while building stayed the same and is on left control. My wall is on Q, but many people prefer to have it on a thumb mouse button. I highly recommend getting a mouse with some mouse buttons because when playing game like Fortnite, your keyboard can get very crowded since you're pressing so many different keys at once. One quick tip for you guys is that you want to keep your fingers on as much as possible. And without thumb mouse buttons, your fingers will be off of what's a lot moving down to my floor. I have it on mouse button too. But many people prefer to have it on a keybind. You guys could switch to floor to Q and wall to mouse button too, if it feels more comfortable to. You remember these are just recommendations and keybinds are all just preference for my stare. I have it on thumb mouse button 1, which is very common among Fortnite players. Lastly, for my corner roof, I have it on left shift, which is in my opinion a great keybind because you can press it with your pinky finger, which means you will not have to take your fingers off of West. Huge pro players like Mongrel also use shift for their cone. My trap is on V. But another good keybind, for it might be tab to place my building. I have it on left mouse button to repair/upgrade my building. I have it on H and to rotate them. I have it on EI to change building material. I have it on 2, and it's really easy to press it since it's right above. However, it causes me to take my finger off of W. My edit bind is F, and it's super easy to press since it's right next to D. Some other good keybinds to edit is E or G for your editing keybinds. You want to have it near was since it's probably one of the most used keys you will press in order for scroll wheel reset to work. You will need to have your scroll wheel on building edit and reset building edit. Most people have it on scroll wheel down, but I have it on square wheel up because earlier in the video I told you guys that I'm using scroll wheel down for my second weapon slot. My crouch while editing is the same, which is left control lastly to select my building edit. I have it on default, which is left mouse button. The rest of these keybinds are not really important, so I'm just scrolling through them now, getting right into the sensitivity personally. I'm a high sensitivity player and I play 14.3 X and I on 800 DPI. I've noticed that when most Players switch to keyboard and mouse, they usually go for a higher sensitivity, which happened in my case. I would recommend staying below 15x and I on 800 DPI. If you're on 400 DPI, I would recommend staying below 30x and I. Lastly, if you're on 1600 DPI, I'd recommend staying below 7.5x and Y. My targeting sensitivity is 35.3, and this is when you aim in with a sniper rifle. Now let's get right into my display settings. I've changed it quite a lot compared to my last settings video. I have it on full screen 1920x 1080, and I'm rocking 200 FPS. Nothing changed there. My brightness is at 101. Of the things I have changed is my colorblind. I'm using Tritone 7, and this helps with seeing a little easier in Storm. One major thing I've changed is that I'm now using performance mode. My 3D resolution stayed the same at 100. My view distance is on far, and I've changed that from epic. I'm also on medium textures with high meshes. The graphics settings that I have right now work really well for me, and I have not run into any problems on my gaming PC. I currently have a Ryzen 55600G 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 3060. My FPS stays at a consistent 200, and it performs really well. My VSync is turned off, and I have show FPS on. I'm going to quickly go over game settings, and I'm just going to go over the important things. So my sprint by default is turned on, and I highly recommend that you guys turn this on. I also have edit on release on, and in my opinion, this is one of the most important things. I highly recommend turning this on, because if you think about it, your editing will be 2 times faster, since instead of pressing edit 2 times, you only have to press it once.